All right, I want you to imagine a place so cold it feels like you're on another planet. But here's the crazy part. People actually live there, their whole lives. Today, we're going to Oymyakon, the coldest village on Earth, where just stepping outside your front door is a literal fight for your life. And it's not some kind of exaggeration. It's the absolute, fundamental law of life there. In Oymyakon, if you stand still, you freeze. It's that simple. Every single moment you spend outside is a risk, and it all comes down to that one single rule. And here's the reason why. Check out this number. The record low, the official record low, was minus 71.2 degrees Celsius. For those of us using Fahrenheit, that's a mind-boggling minus 96. I mean, at that temperature, the very air you're breathing becomes a weapon against you. So, what is it really like to live somewhere the cold isn't just a feeling, but this tangible thing that's always there? Well, let's step outside, shall we? Okay, picture this. You take a breath, and as you breathe out, you hear this crackling sound, like someone rustling dry leaves next to your ear. You know what that is? That's the sound of your own breath instantly freezing into ice crystals. It's a wild, immediate reminder of exactly where you are and just how dangerous it is. And that little shock? It can turn into a serious medical emergency in minutes. We're talking about frostbite. Get this, a visitor was outside for just 15 minutes, 15, and their nose turned completely white. That's the tissue literally starting to die. Another 5 minutes and that damage would have been permanent. See, the cold here isn't just uncomfortable. It feels like it's actively trying to take you apart, piece by piece.
So you have to wonder, right? Why? Why is this one specific spot on the planet so incredibly, punishingly cold? And how does that affect, just normal everyday life? Well, this is where the real battle begins.
It really comes down to two main things. First, its geography is kind of unique. Oymyakon is in this big basin, see, surrounded by mountains. So all the cold, heavy air just sinks and gets trapped. It has nowhere to go. And second, the ground itself is permafrost. We're talking hundreds of meters of permanently frozen earth. So there's absolutely no warmth coming up from the ground. The only heat comes from the sky. And in a place like this, all the stuff we take for granted, just forget about it. Your phone? It'll die in minutes. Left your car outside? It's going to become a solid block of ice. And if you're foolish enough to touch bare metal with your bare skin, you'll get a burn. Oh, and farming? No way. The ground is basically concrete. Modern technology, agriculture, the cold just defeats it all. And the thing is, the consequences for any mistake are absolute. There's this story a local hunter told about his father. His dad fell through the ice. He knew there was no warm shelter anywhere nearby. He knew rescue was impossible, and he knew what a slow, agonizing death from freezing felt like. So, he made an unthinkable choice. He shot himself. It's just a brutal, harrowing reminder that out there, a simple accident isn't just an accident, it's a death sentence. But, and this is the amazing part, people do live here, and not just survive, they've been thriving for generations. So how do they do it? Let's dive into some of the absolutely ingenious ways they've figured out how to live in what seems like an impossible place. First off, you can't just build a regular house. Nope, you have to build a fortress against the cold. Look at how they do it. The houses are built up on these thick beams, above the frozen ground. The walls, they have 7 different layers. The windows are all triple glazed, creating this vital barrier. And this is brilliant. They have these unheated entry rooms that act as a buffer, kind of like an airlock, and a natural walk-in freezer. Okay, so if you can't grow fruits or vegetables, how on earth do you get the nutrients you need to, not get sick? Well, the answer is meat. The diet there is pretty much all raw and frozen meat and fish, especially horse. And this isn't just what they like to eat, it's a biological necessity. By eating the entire animal, organs and all, they get every single vitamin they need, even vitamin C. It's how they're able to thrive where absolutely no plants can grow. And speaking of horses, the local Yakutian horse it's just an evolutionary masterpiece. They're short and stocky, which is great for minimizing heat loss. They're covered in this super thick fur, and they can handle minus 70-degree weather outside 24/7. This animal is basically a walking, breathing survival kit for the people there.
All right, so we've got the big picture survival strategies down. Now let's zoom in on the day-to-day stuff. Because this, to me, is where it gets really, really interesting.
So here's the big question for you. There's no plumbing, right? Any pipe you lay would just freeze and burst immediately. So how do 800 people get fresh water? For drinking, for cooking, for everything?
The answer is basically pure hard work. There's a river nearby, but it has one little section that never freezes solid because of some underground springs. So, what do the residents do? They drive out there, fire up their chainsaws, and cut out these massive blocks of ice. Then they haul them home on sleds and just melt them down whenever they need water. And one of those huge blocks can last a family for weeks. This really puts the little things in perspective, doesn't it? Think about it. Going to the bathroom, that's a mad dash to an unheated outhouse. Taking a bath? Forget a daily shower. It's a weekly thing that takes 4 to 5 hours just to get ready for because you have to melt all that ice. And school? Kids walk to school in the pitch black when it's minus 51 Celsius. School only closes if it gets even colder than minus 55. Unbelievable.
And what about cars? Well, if you leave your car outside for even a few hours, everything freezes solid. The metal, the oil, the fuel, everything. So to start it again, you have to take what is basically a jet heater and point it at the engine for 3 or 4 hours just to thaw it out. It's literally like performing CPR on a machine, bringing it back from the dead every single morning.
So when you step back and look at all this, the insane challenges and the brilliant adaptations, you start to realize there's a deeper philosophy going on here. It's not about waging war against the cold.
And this, right here, is the most important thing to understand. The people of Oymyakon don't see themselves as conquerors of nature. Not at all. They see themselves as living with it, playing by its rules. Their entire way of life is built on this deep, ancient respect for the cold, understanding its power and adapting to it, not trying to fight it.
And this really says it all, doesn't it? It isn't just about survival. It's about coexistence. Life there isn't some constant, desperate fight. It's a partnership with one of the most extreme places on Earth.
So that leaves us with one final question to think about. When you see what human beings are capable of in a place like Oymyakon, it really makes you wonder, right? What can this incredible resilience, this ingenuity, teach us about our own ability to adapt to the challenges, big and small, that we face in our own lives?